Grant. Call this meeting to order the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors for February 1st, 2022. Roll call, Mr. Vader.
Leyland.
Here.
Little.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Jelka.
Here.
White.
Here, have a moment of silence to reflect on our actions of the day. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have the agenda received as proposed or as amended?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments. Anyone from the public have any comments they'd like to make that's not an agenda item? Anyone online? Hearing none. Moving on to years of service to employees with 20 or more years of service. Mr. Vader.
Looks like we have 4 employees to honor today. First of all, with 20 years of service from the engineer's office, Richard Bear. Also from the engineer's office for 25 years, Brian Davis. Thomas Frisch from the sheriff's office for 30 years of service. And Janet Schaefer from the treasurer's office, 35 years of service.
Wow.
I want to thank those employees for their years of service and their continued good work. Moving on to claims and payments. Mr. Perry.
This week's expenditures total $182,887.50. The larger department's secondary roads, $53,342. Sheriff's Department, $34,905. And finally, jail commissary, $12,853. Everything looked normal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? This resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Leyland.
Yes.
Little.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is project updates from department heads and elected officials. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Board. This morning I just wanted to talk very briefly to you about the condition of our bridges here in Blackhawk County. A couple of slides I wanted to show you. So if you saw the news last Friday, you may know that there was a bridge that collapsed right outside of Pittsburgh. And I'm not going to give you any type of detailed analysis of what happened. I'm just showing you this photo that I believe the bridge was built originally in 1901 and then it was reconstructed in 1970. I just did a brief search and looked at some of the news reports. It was rated in poor condition just last year, and then it was posted at 26 tons. And then for whatever reason, it collapsed last Friday. So with that in mind, I just wanted to tell you briefly about the condition of the bridges here in Blackhawk County. And you can see on this chart that our GIS technician just made that we have about 228 bridges in the county. We do have 2 that are closed, and those would be Wheeler Road Bridge and then East Bennington Road Bridge. Statewide, so you can see the number of poor bridges we have here in Blackhawk County is 21 out of those 228. We have 9% that are rated poor in Blackhawk County, and statewide, if you're looking at all the counties collectively, the county bridges are about 23% of county bridges are rated poor. So we're doing significantly better than most other counties at this point in time. You can see we have plenty of good bridges, 134 good bridges. And then I should say that right now we have 17 bridges that are posted and 2 of them are closed, and those are the 2 I already mentioned. So the posted bridges, several of them are restricting traffic to 1 lane, and then most of them are allowing 2-lane traffic with the posting in place. So that's the status of the Blackhawk County bridges. We are obviously keeping an eye on these. We do inspect them according to federal law every 2 years or frequently if that's warranted. I can answer any questions at this time for you.
Is there any particular distinction between fair and good evaluation, or, I mean, I'm sure that there are probably several things, or is there any, I guess, just looking at that we have 73 fair, what that really means to us?
Right, so several years ago, the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highways, we used to classify bridges, instead of poor, they were structurally deficient or functionally obsolete, and that, I guess, was too technical of a term. So Federal Highways suggested that nationwide we go to good, fair, poor terms. When an inspector is doing a rating, the components of the bridges, in our case, we're looking at the substructure, the railing, the deck, the substructure, the structure on top, the footings, etc. We're looking at is everything that's visible, and those components are assigned a numerical rating, 1 through 10, 10 being the best and 1 being bad, very poor. Typically when 8, 9, and 10, those would be considered good components, and then 7, 6, and 5, 6 and 7 in particular, those would be your fair ratings, and then below 4, below 5, those would be poor. So it's a collective a combination of all of those ratings that give the bridge a good, fair, poor, looking at the numerical ratings of all of the components.
Thank you.
With one, the worst being what's determining like if the substructure is rated poor, then that's what's going to drive the overall condition rating of the bridge. So that's
Kathy, you
how-
said we had 21 in poor condition, and you said 17 of them are posted and 2 closed. What's the other 2?
So we have 19 that are, I'm sorry, we have 17 that are posted, and we have 2 that are closed.
Okay.
That would be the Wheeler Road Bridge and the East Bennington Road Bridge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good information to review today, too, with that being such a news story. So
Yes, thank you.
Anyone else? Good morning, Nafisa.
Good morning, board.
You have good news for us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. That's good. Nafisa Ebonye, Blackhawk County Public Health Director. Just taking a moment outside of COVID. This month is Dental Health Month, and I'd like to feature our I Smile program. And so, if you can play the video. This is a program that we do in schools in Blackhawk County, Bremer, Grande, and Buchanan, but this video is focused on Blackhawk.
So the iSmile program is important to provide gap-filling services for our community. We have a very diverse community and a highly enrolled Medicaid population. We are able to see them in the schools and provide the oral screenings, the fluoride applications, and sealants if they can have sealants applied. Tonight or tomorrow morning to brush those off, okay? Your teeth are gonna feel kind of sticky. Does it feel sticky?
Okay, bud, come on over.
Great job today.
What did they do for you today?
We put two vitamins on my teeth.
That's right. And what are those 2 vitamins going to do?
Keep my teeth strong.
Yeah.
Open big so I can count your pretty crowns.
Good job.
1, 2, 3, 4 crowns and 1 spacer. They put stuff so I make it strong, and they put shiny stuff on there.
Yeah.
I brush my teeth.
Good, good. And what's the benefit of having good teeth? You get to have a good smile?
Yeah.
Let's see that good smile. Oh, that is nice.
Because we are trying to provide services for kids who typically don't see their dentist regularly. That's our whole goal, is for every child to have a dental home. It's important for us to go, and even if we're just providing an oral screening, because we also do sealants, we also do fluoride varnish, but if we're just doing an oral screening where we're looking into that mouth, so they can get that care coordination or have risk factors identified. I think it's good for us to even just do that.
They put in some things on my teeth.
Why do you think they did that?
So my teeth stay healthy.
Let's see that smile. Oh, that's a good one.
We sent home a letter to the parents, so they know that their child needs either immediate care or care within 3 months if there's smaller issues. And then we follow up with those families within a certain time frame to make sure that they were able to get into a dental provider, see if they need any assistance getting in, and just to follow up to make sure treatment has been done for those children.
Needed to speak with you in regards to your child's dental needs.
Like, I'm just seeing a whole different side of dentistry, and I feel like I'm helping the community more than I was in clinical practice.
It's to take care of your teeth, to make your teeth healthier, so that your teeth doesn't get any cavities. Just to be safe, be healthier more.
Let's see that smile.
Definitely. I've been here working in this program for 20 years, and the need is still there. That is what is so I find so fascinating and amazing, is because the need is still there.
Thank you. So it's a dental health month, and we're going to continue to do some community engagement initiatives. This iSmell program is a statewide program that connects Iowans with dental, medical, and community resources. And so the state funding provides us to be able to do some care coordination of oral health services for 4 counties: Blackhawk, Bremer, Grande, and Buchanan. And as you've seen, it's really for preventative oral health care for school-age children, and that's really important because we know how dental hygiene has an impact on overall health. And as the video, the dental hygienist explained, is that we predominantly see kids on Medicaid. And so that's really important. We're a gap-filling service. It's such a critical need because we have less and less providers now that are dentists that are taking Medicaid. And that's even for adults, we're seeing that. So we're hoping that things will move in the right direction at the state and local level to be able to do that. But in the meantime, the health department is that gap filler for the community, and especially the kiddos that we see. And so that's important. So right now, the data shows that we've provided 1,605 oral screenings and have applied 427 dental sealants. We're working on community initiatives with some of the dentists this upcoming couple weeks, and so I will share that with you all, but it's exciting. And we want to thank also Waterloo School District in particular for being really great partners with us and providing us that accessibility to be able to do this for the kids. So that's one program I wanted to highlight that we're focusing on this month. You have in front of you our grants to county well water testing. In the fall of 2021, Environmental Health used grants to county funds to send out a mailer promoting free well water testing to over 600 rural Blackhawk County residents, resulting in over 65 well water tests being completed, as well as multiple well plugging and reconstruction efforts. So this spring, we'll repeat this effort again, sending over 600 postcards to rural Blackhawk County, a press release, and also do a social media campaign. The Grants to County program provides free water tests to homeowners to test for multiple well water contaminants, including bacteria, nitrates, arsenic, and manganese, with the potential to test for other contaminants. And this program is available to well water owners every year, and the recommendation is that they test their well water every 1 to 2 years. And so we're excited about this also for our rural communities.
Do you feel you have a pretty good response to this?
Yeah.
Type of
Oh,
effort
yes,
as far as
yes,
they do?
yes. And so it also varies, you know. We have, like I said, we had about 65 well water tests, so that's pretty good. And so we're still trying to figure out how to engage our rural communities more and more, and I think we're making progress.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nafisa.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience got updates? How about online? Any department heads online got updates they want to share? Hearing none, moving on to 905, proposed adoption of a resolution establishing the total maximum property tax. We'll do that when we get through with the rest of the agenda.
Minutes.
We skipped.
Oh, sorry about that. Minutes approved for January 25th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is consent agenda by resolution.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of the items? Hearing none, this is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next, number 9 is resolution at the amendment number 1 to the agreement letter dated October 15, 2021 to add 2 departments for a new total of 19 departments for a sum of $6,000 to the final master facility plan be approved and the chair be signed as recommended by Rory Geving, maintenance superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
Rory, yeah, I guess I'd have some questions. Yeah.
Good morning, Board. Rory Giving, Maintenance Superintendent.
Morning.
This is for an additional scope of work for the space study to include the Emergency Management Agency and the Consolidated Communication Agency. There had been a study that was completed back in 2019. So when they looked at this proposal, they did take that into consideration. And so the facility assessment portion of this has already been completed. So what we're looking at is just including this on the facility master plan.
Could you refresh for me what was done in 2019?
I actually wasn't part of that, but from what I understand, they met with both agencies and did an interview process, just like what we're doing with the 17 departments currently. And so they've got a pretty good understanding of their space and their needs. And so that's what we've been doing the last couple of weeks with the 17 departments, is just getting a better understanding of what their needs are.
So that was maybe, and I'm just guessing here, but after you said that, probably when emergency management was looking for a different location.
Yes.
And considered Consolidated Communications to be part of that, so that was what they did together.
Yeah, it's my understanding they actually looked at an off-site location at that time. I believe it was an old a doctor's office or something.
In Tower Park or area or something. Yeah, okay.
I would just like to amend my motion to indicate that these are ARP funds.
Yes.
And the $6,000, is that a typical what we've been doing kind of for 2 departments, the cost, or is there anything different, I guess, in that they'd be evaluating because they are different than our typical departments?
It's according to the proposal, it's a reduction because they're taking into an account that 2019 study that they did. They didn't give me a breakout of what that would have been if they wouldn't have had the 2019 study. So this is a proposal taking that into an account.
And I believe you mentioned something in an email as far as timing and taking additional time. It really wasn't going to take too much more time for us to do this.
We're still shooting for our mid-March timeframe to present the final master plan.
Okay.
In fact, this morning it was We've had a couple emails going back and forth, and there are a few departments that we're running into some scheduling conflicts for that March 9th. So there is a chance we may need to push that out to a little bit later in March, but we're still shooting for March as a deadline.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank
Any
you,
other
Roy.
questions?
Any other questions?
Rory, I've got a question. Why are we considering the committee is for Blackhawk County space? Why are we considering a entity that's not Blackhawk County? It's not even the building is the county. And we're talking about using county art funding for this. Why would we be doing this? Are we going to use art money for, I heard the other day Elk Run's talking about some promise on art money for their wastewater project. It's been going on for 2 years. Are we going to use the money that's kind of targeted for our health department, our sheriff's office, our IT infrastructure for other entities that really aren't the county?
I'm assuming you're talking about the Emergency Management Association, and I think the driving force behind that was, again, the study that was done in 2019. There was benefit in seeing both of those departments in one structure. There's benefit.
Who authorized the study in 2019? I don't recall that coming through the Board of Supervisors. Did that go to the EMA board, which is completely separate from the Board of Supervisors?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very
Yes,
good question.
Tom, that's what I'm thinking too. It was when Lori Glover for EMA was looking at a different
Yeah.
location and went out and did that, yes.
Yeah, she was looking at that strip mall area out in front of Sam where them doctors moved out of.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
still have concerns with us using art money for outside county projects. This has been going on for years. I've been out there for flood disasters, and they have plenty of room. There's 2 employees, and they got classrooms out there. I tried to call yesterday and couldn't get a hold of anybody, so I don't know if they were off yesterday or what. But I think this is a decision that should be made by the EMA board, which we have a supervisor, I believe it's Linda, that serves on that.
correct.
And then all the cities are representative, but to use art money from the county that's intended for the county functions, which we've got enough projects of our own that we can utilize that money. I think it should stay there. What happened a few years ago, in my opinion, was the EMA tied themselves to the communication center because they thought they'd have a better chance of getting a new building by tying to the communication center. And that's the reason why you hear those two in the same breath. But again, I don't believe we should be spending art money on a building that isn't county, which costs very little rental out there, and has plenty of room and has 2 employees. So that's my opinion of it. And has there anything been done before now? I heard about a couple of weeks ago, questioned you why you were doing something when it never came to the board. And I see after the fact now, Rory, it's coming to the board because I mentioned something. Has there been any work done on that prior to today?
Are you referring to?
EM Bank.
No, this the only request that I had received was to look at adding these 2 entities under the space study. So no other work's been completed with them other than just putting this proposal together.
Does our space committee, which is county employees in the courthouse or wherever, do they get involved with the EMA over the years? Has that anything come to you guys before? Remodeling or extension or anything, or is this the first time?
No, actually, for space committee and department head committee, even security, when Lori Glover was here, she would attend all of those meetings. And like you had mentioned earlier, she was a big driving force on trying to get out of that location that they're currently at. So they have been at meetings in the past. As far as county resources, from my standpoint, we haven't put any county resources towards that other than what's proposed today.
Well, other than what the other entities contribute to keep the EMA going, that's how they exist today. Craig and myself have been out there years ago when we had a severe flooding situation in Blackhawk County where they set up a base camp. And to be honest with you, we had plenty of room there, plus they had some nice classrooms. I'm not really sure why we need to be talking about a building for two people when really, in my opinion, doesn't have anything to do with the board at this time, even though we do have a member that serves on it. So I'm kind of opposed. We've got enough projects for our own county departments that we could be using and using this money rather than trying to create a building for two people and put them in with the communication center, which we've spent thousands of dollars of upgrading that facility also after it was flooded.
I think it just makes sense for EMA to be with dispatch, especially with changing times, the natural disasters they experience south of us in Cedar Rapids. With climate change, we're going to see more of those events. We're going to see tornadoes. We need to be prepared. In my conversations with EMA, I didn't realize how involved they are with public health. I was down at dispatch Friday, and it smelled like sewer down there. And I had forgotten. When I was the police chief, I would go down there, and I would smell the sewage smell. And it's not because the system is bad, it's just because the sewer system is old and it takes frequent maintenance. But it was disgusting that we have employees work in an environment that smells like crap. And for years, as the police chief, they talked about putting EMA and Consolidated Dispatch together. It just makes sense. I even think Waterloo's Watch Command should be associated with Consolidated Dispatch because it just makes sense.
As far as the sewer smell, Dan, that's the first I've ever heard of that in 17 years of the smell down there. We've done quite improvements on moving piping, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
And number two, I don't know why we want to put, which again, I don't know why we're saying why you want two of those in the same building if there is a disaster. That's usually a no-no. And it's a couple weeks ago you were talking about proposing a tax levy, putting taxes on the taxpayers and paying a levy. I don't know where you're at with that.
I support that.
Art money, county art money on there.
Yeah, I support an EMA levy as well, to take that burden off the cities.
Apparently we don't, it's not going to be cheap if the board decides to step outside their bounds and do something with EMA when it should be done by the EMA board itself and make a presentation to the board. So you don't serve on that board, do you, Dan?
I do not, but I have connection, dialogue with board members, the function. Linda and I communicate, so yeah, I support the $6,000.
And you don't have no problem with a further taxing on a tax levy for the taxpayers in Blackhawk County?
I'm not going to call it a further taxing, I'll call it a transfer of taxing.
But I mean, it's going to be an increase in their taxes, correct?
Taken from the cities, it'll be a decrease, it should be a decrease for city taxes and an additional line item for the tax bill that the residents get.
And it'll be on the county tax bill, not on the cities.
Correct. It's transparency as far as I'm concerned, further transparency.
So an increase of taxes, no matter how you look at it. Okay, thank you, Roy. That's all the questions I got.
Tom, I just was wondering, your question, I mean, obviously the board has to determine whether or not we'd go forward with doing any changes for any of those departments, whether it be EMA or our own departments. And your issue today is that primarily that we'd be using $6,000 of our ARP money for that. Would you, I know that EMA did receive some ARP funding. I'm not sure that we've utilized all of that. Would you prefer if they participated in this in some way? Would that make it?
You know, Linda, frankly, I wasn't aware that EMA even received ARP funding. I knew the other entities did. Obviously, the cities, not as much as what the county got. And I don't think the county got as much as Waterloo got. So I think everybody got a little bit of the funding. I just think that we have some very worthwhile projects that really haven't been identified in Blackhawk County departments. And I think we should be addressing them first rather than keep adding people to this space committee. I mean, people on that space committee probably have been in different areas of the courthouse or wherever. I doubt if any of them have been out to the EMA out there, so they don't even know. So I guess more I'm saying, Linda, was I wasn't aware they received ARC money also. And if they haven't initiated anything, the board members out there, why are we doing it? I guess I just don't get it. I know Dan is pro public safety and so forth, and I am too. But I was elected as supervisors to take care of Blackhawk County and not to be concerned. I mean, we should have concern with EMA, obviously, because it's emergency management, but they only have 2 employees. They have a nice facility out there. They're paying very little rent. And I just don't know why we'd use county right now. We've got our hands full right now. And I think if EMA is concerned, as Dan is, that maybe they should use their ARP funds and go ahead and get a study going or whatever, and see if they want to do this. I know this has been brought up over the years. I don't know if, Linda, did you say when Lori did it, it was hired by the EMA board? Because the county, I don't think, took any action on any study.
No, I think Lori was looking at different locations. She had been for years. And and to answer one of your questions earlier, we did look, I don't know if it was the Space Committee, but one of the locations that were under consideration was the use of Pinecrest facility. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And so, if this was an opportunity to me to just take a look at where they're at and what their needs are and add them to us as a county, that's, to me, makes sense, kind of in a partnership effort for that, just to see another evaluation, like you said, of the facility, maybe to get more information to all of us on the needs out there and if we're meeting those, and if they're graver than some of the other things that we need to be looking at, I guess at least bringing that to our attention. But Consolidated Communications, the only thing that really prompted me to even think of them earlier was because of the flooding that we'd had, and I don't know if that was in 2008, but when they were just, I don't know, hundreds of feet from being flooded, and thinking that our Consolidated Communications for the entire county are in a basement that was in danger of being flooded, and what that would mean to us. And I'm sure there's a backup plan for what happens to that, but just looking at that and seeing if there wasn't something we should be addressing for the entire county, quite honestly. That's where I was thinking, Tom. But
we've made a lot of improvements over there, Linda. I think you were on the board since that flooding. For some reason, the previous board or whoever decided that was a good place to put the communication center. Yes, we did get flooding. Since then, we've made a lot of different improvements over there, even with generator and blah, blah, blah. And I don't think we've had any trouble since then. But, I guess I don't know about the basement thing there. I've never heard of the sewer before. That's the first time I've ever heard of that. But I know the statement was made that people shouldn't have to work in a basement. So are we going to move the county attorney out of the basement with all his assistant county attorneys? Are we going to move HR out of the basement? Are we going to move maintenance out of the basement? Because nobody should be having an office in a basement, apparently. So how far is this going to go?
I can speak.
Again, question whether you put EMA and Communication Center all under one building, and if you have it, something happens that takes out the whole building, then you don't have emergency management system going or that. So, I'd consider looking at the Communication Center, even though we don't budget. That's a separate budget. And the only reason they're county employees because they had to put them somewhere at the time. I would, consider looking at that. It's not going to be cheap, folks. That's going to be one heck of a $10-15 million project before it's over with. But as far as the other one, I don't think we have any business messing with that. And I think the whole board should have had discussion on this as a group here a few weeks ago, rather than having decisions made upstairs, one or two at a time in an office. And that's the only thing that concerns me. So I brought it up 2 weeks ago. That's why I'm sitting here today.
Any other questions?
Yeah, no, I think just trying to resolve this. If EMA would participate, maybe that would make it better. We could certainly go with Consolidated Communications, but
So you want to table this?
I don't know what.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm okay with really going forward with the 6,000 right now for the study, since we're not going to be obligated to
Do anything?
doing anything, and I think it'd probably be good for all of us to have more information on both those departments. So,
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor, right?
Yes.
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
yes.
Little,
No.
White.
Yes. Moving on to other business. This is a resolution that the addition to the ARC Phase 1 projects in the amount of $30,170 be approved as recommended by LU IT Director. Morning, Al.
Board.
Morning.
LU IT Director. As you can see, I have a list of items I would like to include with ARP Phase 1 that I previously shared with you. Any questions regarding these items?
No, I think you were just determining those are going to be very beneficial for us, all of those particular items.
Correct.
Any rating or anything more important than that, or just all of them with the same importance?
I mean, the one in the middle is, there's a switch that's, we have a big project that's contingent on it. We can't move forward until we actually acquire that switch. So, simply because we don't have any more space on the rack, so.
Okay. Thank you. I thought it would be more, so I appreciate it.
Well,
It will be before it's over.
this is immediate future.
Yeah. One step at a time,
This
right
is just,
now.
this is back to phase 1, I
Yeah.
understand, yeah.
Move to approve?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? This resolution, please answer your name is called.
Trelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is a motion that the Board of Supervisors appoints LU IT Director as HIPAA Security Officer and Amanda Fessenmeyer, Human Resource Director of Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA Privacy Officer, effective February 1st, 2022, as recommended by the Blackhawk County HIPAA Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Moving second. Any discussion on this?
Anybody can remind me who's on the HIPAA committee?
Put her on the spot.
Probably the two of you, and who else?
It's a small committee. I believe we have Toki as well from the health department, IT, HR. That was really the bulk of it that works. We have some work to do on this to get together. I'll be honest, this was the first kind of committee action that I've seen since even being in the human resources. We've shifted the HIPAA responsibility to human resources to be more in line with the other kind of industry best practices. Right now, with it both being under IT, we felt that needs a little bit of a checks and balance to have them separate roles. But they do have to be named as part of the requirements for like our group health plan and other programs that are set up by the VA, the health department, any of those that require collecting information on those in the public that use our services as well as our employees. So, but it is a small committee. And I don't know that there's a board member actually appointed to that, but that's something we could provide an update on and reconvene on when we meet.
Is it necessary?
Just if you have critical needs for it.
Yes, we'll explore that. Like I said, they haven't met for a long time, and actually this was my first real meeting with them. So we'll have some learning curve here with it, but it's more of a formality for a lot of the programs and documents that we have with regards to our health insurance plan and the security information.
But it seems like it should be in place. Anyway.
Yeah, we think it's better that it's
Yeah.
divided amongst two roles.
Right.
So
Sounds
And I'm
good.
sure you'll update us.
And we can
if
look
it's
at
needed.
putting a board member on it at a later date.
If it's, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, we'll kind of get an idea. We have some other committees too that sometimes are just related to very, you know, specific areas. But this helps establish, you know, when there is a HIPAA violation, something that needs to be addressed, the right protocol and who to contact to engage in that investigation. So, all right.
Good.
Thank you,
Thanks very
Amanda.
Thank
much.
you.
Do I have a motion on this?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Next, the motion that the appointment of Adam Secretan as a representative for the Blackhawk County Conservation Board be approved with the term ending December 31st, 2026. Tom, you want to take this?
Yes, Craig and myself did interviews, and again, we had 3 excellent people. But what we were trying to concentrate, we need somebody from that part of the county out by LaPorte. And this gentleman here is an ag teacher, younger, and you could just feel the enthusiasm of wanting to serve on that board, and I think he'd be a good asset. But again, we had a couple other individuals that I think also would have been good people to serve on our conservation, so we'll keep them on file for, I believe, 2 years we keep them. But it was refreshing to be able to interview 3 different people, and really we could have picked any one of the 3. And again, I think we succeeded in getting somebody in a part of the county that we didn't currently have anybody.
He was from LaPorte, was it?
The LaPorte area, he's a school teacher, I believe, for Union,
Yeah.
and he's an ag teacher, and he's I think a friend of Beck that used to be on there, who was a teacher too.
Okay, thank
So
you.
I think it's a good choice, and we went through the interviews, and then Craig and I kind of got together and decided this would probably be the right one to recommend to the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you.
He did mention that he takes his class out. They bring their bikes in at least a couple times a year, and they go out on the trails and they
Yeah.
see what improvements need to be made and stuff like that. So he's very proactive. And like Tom said, the other 2, Danny and Dick, the other 2 applicants were excellent too. So that's one of the first times I've sat on one that, you know, it was tough to pick. Usually one sticks way out above the rest.
Yep.
So I have a motion on the floor and a second. Do I have a second?
Don't have a motion.
Oh, I don't have a
Second.
motion. Okay.
I'm sorry, who moved it?
All motion.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is a motion that the 2021 Blackhawk County wage listing be received and placed on file and direct the county auditor to publish it in the Waterloo Courier.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Gonna have to add a page to the paper. I said it's got down to 12 pages here lately, so that'll be an extra page. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. This is a resolution to approve cooperative agreement between City of Hudson and Blackhawk County for placement of vehicle registration stops on persons with City of Hudson parking tickets.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion on this item.
Was there a reason they weren't included previously? Had they not decided that they wanted to do this, Rita, or they just, had we been doing it and just needed an agreement?
Rita Schmidt, Treasurer. The cities approach us for this. This is something above and beyond that what we do. City of Waterloo, Gilbertville, usually if they're having parking issues, they reach out to us. All we do is put a stop on it for a fee for doing so. We do not collect. They have to show that the payment has been made to the city for us to renew their vehicles. They do that because if they give a ticket, usually they have no teeth in that ticket with follow-up as far as if you don't pay, what's the next step? And this is one opportunity for them to put a stop on the vehicle registrations, so they will need to get that paid at some point.
Yeah, it seemed to work well for some of the other communities.
Yes, City of Waterloo does use it very fluently, but Gilbertville and Hudson, for their reasons, had reached out, and we already have one with Gilbertville and now with Hudson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Any further discussion on this item? This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is a motion to direct the county auditor to advertise for a public hearing to be held at 9:05 on Tuesday, February 15th in Boardroom 201, Blackhawk County Courthouse, on the proposed ordinance number 145, amendment to ordinance 144, to amend the description of certain election precincts.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. This is a resolution to approve a variance request to the subdivision ordinance regulations to waive the preliminary and final plat submittal requirements and to approve the following final plat of Vales Grove subdivision. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, basically, the variance that's necessary this is for the subdivision regulation. So this isn't something that would go before Board of Adjustment. This is something that would only go before the Board of Supervisors because they're in charge of rezoning and platting. Basically, this is the variance that's just needed because normally a preliminary plat would be required and then they submit the final plat. In this particular case, there's no new development that's going on. It's just 3 existing homes and 3 lots, and then they're going to have 4 outlots. And they just chose to do it this way just for the ease of legal descriptions. I don't know if you looked at these maps, but I don't know how huge these suckers would be if you had to do meets and bounds for each one. So that's the reasoning for it. And I had conversations with Eric Schroeder, and he indicated, this is the route to take per the subdivision regulations of Blackhawk County so that we can move the final plat forward.
Thanks. So moved.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. H, resolution to approve the request by Twin Rock Farms Incorporated for the final plat of Vales Grove subdivision with 403.47 acres for 3 existing homes on 3 proposed lots and 4 outlots at and near 3520 North Elk Run Road in Agricultural District.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, this is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is a motion to approve the Blackhawk County re-precincting worksheet as recommended by Grant Vader, County Auditor.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Grant, anything you want to say?
I guess it would be good to mention that this and previous action about the ordinance that was amending the previous ordinance, there's a lot of activity going on with the re-precincting that follows every decennial census. And so this is something that's going on throughout the state. It's something, since it only happens every 10 years, there's not a lot of institutional memory of how it went before. And the Secretary of State's office has the same problem. And so there's a lot of work going on in counties around the state. And I'll just say that we're lucky that we don't have supervisor districts because those are the ones that are having the most problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next, the resolution to approve the combining of the city of Jessup, that part located in Blackhawk County, entire incorporated city of Raymond, unincorporated Pointer One Township, unincorporated East Waterloo Township, and incorporated Fox Township, and direct the chair to sign for same.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
I think it needs clarification, though, for what? It just says approving the combining of City of Jessup and the entire incorporated, and asking the chair to sign. I think we need to.
Okay. This is tied up with the same business that I was talking about, and it's required that if an incorporated city or a part of an incorporated city is combined with unincorporated areas like our townships, that there has to be an agreement between the city and the county for those combinations to occur to form voting precincts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Any other
If
questions?
the city is above 2,500 in population.
Any other questions for Grant? Hearing none, this is a resolution. Please answer your name is called.
Trelka?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
White?
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is K. This is a 950 hearing on a proposed adoption of resolutions establishing the total maximum property tax dollars that may be certified for levy for general county services and total maximum property tax dollar that may be certified for the levy for rural county services.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on fiscal year 23 budget proposed total maximum property tax dollars that may be certified for levy for general county services and total maximum property tax dollars that may be certified for levy for rural county services.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Motion to receive and place on file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor for proof of public hearing. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Motion to close the hearing after oral written comments were received and placed on file.
Second.
Any written comments, Grant?
No.
Any oral comments?
You gonna comment at all, James, about
Yes, yep, sorry, I'm getting my screen up and running here. All right, so I did want to touch base a little bit. So I put this presentation together regarding the max levy hearing. This is new for the past 2 years, so I just wanted to put together a little refresher for everyone. So the breakdown for the urban and the rural county levy is for the urban, you have the general fund, you have the general supplemental, you have the mental health levy, and then you have your debt service. As we all know, the mental health levy dropped off, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here on the next slide. And then for the rural, it stands alone, so it is a little bit separate. But for that total urban, you do have those 4 separate funds in there. So I want to talk a little bit about the increases and decreases that we are going to see for those levies. So what is presented on the publication was an increase to the general levy of 4.45% and an increase to the rural levy of 5.12%. But what actually the taxpayers are going to see are an increase to the general levy of 4.45%, a decrease in the mental health levy of 100% because that's going away. Our debt service levy is dropping by 24.72%. For a total decrease of 7.74%. So what's published and what's actually happening behind the scenes are a little bit different, but I did want to just kind of make light of that for the urban side. And then the rural side is increasing by the 5.12%. This is the summary of the changes, and this is what we talked about on January 13th. You're looking at the percentage increase or decrease on the far right-hand column, and you're looking at the current FY23 taxes. The tax askings are on the top portion of it, and then the tax rates or the levy rates are on the bottom portion of it. So you can see the total tax askings are dropping by 7.74%, and then your total rate levy is dropping by 6.93%. And none of these have changed since the 13th, but I did want to just kind of reiterate those. and then this is what was published. So as you can see, the only things that we, by code, have to publish are the general basic and supplemental, as well as the rural basic and rural supplemental. So I did want to clear up, we are seeing those increases for those specific funds, but overall we are looking at a decrease. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, James.
Would you send a copy of that to us, please?
You got it.
Thank you. Thanks.
I have a motion on the floor to close the hearing. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Next is the resolution that the maximum property tax dollars for general county services and rural county services for fiscal year 2023 shall not exceed the following: general county services, $31,414,907. Rural county services, $3,358,162. The maximum property tax dollars requested in either general county services or rural county services for fiscal year 22 does represent an increase greater than 102% from the maximum property tax dollars requested for year 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this? This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Trelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next, the motion to direct the finance director to advertise for a public hearing on the proposed Blackhawk County budget for the fiscal year 22-23 to be held on February 22nd, 2022 at 9:05 in Boardroom 201, the Blackhawk County Courthouse, Waterloo, Iowa.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is discussion, possible board action to discuss the fiscal year 22 contract awarded to Don's Truck Sales Incorporated for purchase of 2 tandem axle dump trucks.
Nafisa, you want to do that one?
Okay, good morning, Board.
Good morning.
In our FY22 budget, as you know, we did have 2 tandem axle dump trucks purchased, and in order to get a start on the long lead time of those vehicles now, last June we had a letting for that. For the 2 tandem axles, we did receive 4 bids. Don's Truck Sales was approximately $396,000. And then our high bidder was Midwest Peterbilt Group at $546,000. And I did send you this information in an email. So we proceeded to order our trucks with Don's Truck Sales, of course. And things were going along until late last fall, right before Christmas. Gene Carpenter, the manager at Don's, called me and said that Freightliner was experiencing some increase in costs, and he was going to have to be passing those on to us, the purchaser of the trucks. And due to the unusual request by Don's amending the contract essentially since we have these on order, I did ask him if he would like to come and address you because this is an unusual request, and I thought it would be best if you heard from him yourselves, and you can ask him some questions about the situation with Freightliner and some of the other truck manufacturers. If you'd like to speak, Gene.
Thank you.
Gene Carpenter, the general manager at Don's Truck Sales.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Gene.
I've been in this business 45 years. This is the first time I have ever had to stand before a board on this particular item. To give you a little bit of a rundown, I mean, the bid was June 14th. It was awarded to us on the 26th. We were not allowed to order these trucks until August 27th due to material shortages and trying to get the plants aligned so that they could build what they had product for. During this lapse of time, and since then, I have incurred $1,600 worth of increases, which I have no intention of passing on to the board. There's a $300 tire surcharge. There's Freightliner put it on my invoice as a miscellaneous factory charge, which is a nice way of saying a dealer surcharge is going to be paid of $1,050, and then the transportation amount went up $250. On December 13th, the sheet that I just gave you is one that was sent out to us basically saying that the 114 SD, which is on order for you guys, was going up $2,900. I wasn't surprised at this surcharge. I was surprised that it hadn't come out ahead of time. All of the OEMs have either had to pass on these surcharges, or PACCAR has canceled orders and said, you're not getting any trucks until we tell you you can reorder. I've had several of municipal entities that buy this that says that they're already expecting about a $12,000 to $15,000 increase when PACCAR comes back online. Just to give you some idea of the scope of the rest of the equipment that's on your trucks, when I got the bid, I ordered the Henderson equipment immediately, and that is locked in so that you guys do not have to incur any additional expense. But I did figure out, if you ordered that equipment today, on average it goes up 28%, and you would be paying $14,757 more for just the Henderson equipment. So I guess with all this being said, and as bad as I hate talking about COVID, that's what's precipitated this. Between the material shortages, between the labor problems that everybody has experienced, some of which I think is due to people, it's just easier to sit home and than to go to work. So with all this being said, I'm asking the board to assist me in this $2,900. I showed Kathy before the meeting what my profit is on this truck, and she fell off her chair. To be very honest with you, I have less than $4,000 profit in this truck. This is the way I've always treated my counties. I expect to make my money when you guys break down and come in, and I can basically assist you in that mean. On the front side, I'm very conservative on what I charge the counties. So with $1,600 already being taken out of this, I'm not left with much. Of all the counties and customers that we have contacted to this date, you're the last basically board that hasn't approved the increase. But I'm asking that you assist me in this. Not any of my doing. It's they're calling it an act of God. Whether you take COVID as an act of God or not, I don't know. But so, do you have any questions for me?
Gene, the county and the cities such as Waterloo, we've been doing business with you a long, long time.
Yep. Probably 45 years.
And evidently we're happy with the service and the pricing we're getting because we keep going back to you.
Well, and the other item is, if you look on the bid tab, I have a salesman in myself. We know how to market used stuff. Basically, I gave you $13,000 more than the next closest bidder for your trade-ins.
Yep.
I try and treat my counties fair because counties have been a good part of my business and a good customer.
That's why we come back to you.
Yeah, we do appreciate that. And Kathy's complimented your service and your partnership in helping us with timely repairs and working together with us with questions sometimes we have, so very much appreciate that.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
I assume.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, we do for that additional $5,800 for the two vehicles.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there further discussion?
Mike?
I've got one question for legal. Is there any concern here with the board?
I don't have any concern, and the reason is this. Ordinarily, when you get a bid, that bid is a binding contract. However, there are a number of circumstances, including when things financially come apart in the deal in a way that's beyond the control of the contracting parties, where that contract can be that contract can be extinguished. In this circumstance, in keeping in spirit with competitive bidding, the county would undoubtedly be in a worse situation if we did not take the proposal by Mr. Carpenter and instead would go out and let this for new bids. This is the better way to go.
Will this set up, Mike, any kind of pattern if we have, we got obviously other contracts out there? Do you feel that this is going to set any kind of a precedence of that?
And that had occurred to me, but I don't. It's impossible to say for sure, Mr. Little, but I don't believe that will set up. Will be seen as setting a precedent here.
Okay, thank you.
Well, and this board could look at it individually anyway if someone
Right.
were to try
That's
to do
usually what
it
we
based
do.
on
That's right.
each situation.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, Mr. Vader.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your continued service to us. Next is county preparedness and possible updates from COVID-19. Good morning again. Nafisa.
Good morning. I don't like to talk about COVID too, but I guess I have to. It's part of my job. So good news. We are slowly decreasing. Our percent positivity this week is 36.5%. So that's a good thing. We had 261 cases since January 28th. So we're still high, but the good thing is that we're coming down. So I'm hoping that we continue to go down. In the meantime, we've been trying to figure out very strategic ways of always educating the community. And so we, through our grant funding, we're able to have billboards. And so Gabby, if somebody can share the billboards, that will be okay. Gabby's doing that. So we will have billboards in our community, I believe starting this week. The billboards will be in English, French, and in Spanish. This is something that we'll have in San Martin location and also Washington and 4th Street. You will see that. So this is Gabby's showing the billboard in French, and then this is the billboard in English. In addition, one of the things that we thought that'll be important going forward is that we plan to do these billboards highlighting also public health programs and our services so that the community has clarity on what we do. We've found out over the years that sometimes we get confused with DHS services, but we'll be doing some promotion of our clinical services as well. I do want to mention to the board that because of COVID, we were able to receive grant funding for our technology improvements. And so we today will be submitting our proposal of what those technological improvements will look like at Pinecrest. But I do have concerns given that we have a building assessment that's going on, and also we have funding from the state. And so I just want the board to be aware that the department is getting COVID-related funds as well. And I don't know, it's kind of like what goes first, but we do have concerns about our space meeting the needs of our clients. Yeah. Okay.
We can always build you a new building too, Nafisa.
Probably been
Thank you. But it is, I mean, one of the concerns with the accreditation board was our clinic being on the 5th floor. They had great concerns, but.
Nafisa, when did the billboards start?
The billboard are going to start, let me just make sure. Gabby, is it this week or next week?
It actually started yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
I saw it on my way in this morning.
Yes.
Because it says COVID is surging.
Yes, so we might need to modify the language since our data's it's pretty high, so we're just concerned. So, Gabby, we'll look into that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we are still quite a bit higher than the state average.
Yeah.
But yes, we can modify it at any time during the month.
Yes.
Because I think it's a confusing
messaging.
Is that the one that changes out there, Gabby?
System.
Yeah.
Yes, yep, it's the electronic billboard on 4th and Washington, and then also on San Martin.
Yeah. No, great point. So we'll look into modifying the language. Yeah.
Is there anything that can be done in the nursing homes with the rate so high in them? It's horrible.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, there's been a joint statement in regards to disease investigation and contact tracing not really having an impact because it's here. So our role is moving forward. We're going to really focus with our partners, such as the nursing homes, and see what we can do. But it's everywhere.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nafisa.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any reports or information from the board?
I just had something to present to the supervisors. I think we've had in the last few weeks, I think the position has been posted for a health board member. They had a vacancy, and we've not received anything on that. And when I looked back, I saw that Supervisors Schwartz and Trelka had interviewed the 3 candidates when Disa Cornish was appointed. And because we do keep those on file for 2 years and can consider other members, I just thought if one of you would like to make a recommendation or something for next week's board meeting, maybe we should, or unless you want to re-interview.
On a particular name? Because I do have one in mind that we did interview, and it just...
Well, we interviewed 2. Kingsley Botchway, which was the HR person with Waterloo Schools.
Yep.
And I didn't remember the other, so I did check on that. It was Sarah Kane, and she was a
Yes.
nurse practitioner. So it sounded like we did have 2 very good candidates.
Yeah.
But I thought I just wanted to bring that up. If we could get that on next week's agenda and fill that board, it would be.
Yes, I think.
Okay.
Chris, your thoughts?
Because, they were both excellent candidates, but I did prefer one over the other.
Yeah, I'll discuss. We can refresh our memories from those interviews.
Great. Thank you.
So you guys will get together? And
Yeah,
make your
yeah,
decision?
Chris and I will talk.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else to come before us this morning? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice short meeting.
Yeah.